Sorry about my lateness, y'all. Like I said, I had to go pick up my medicines for my kids and had to go to the City of Gold, Villa Rica, to pick that up, which is a little bit away because my local pharmacy doesn't know how to do it right. So I had to go to my sister, who is a drug dealer, because that's what all people who graduate from Auburn University become. In some way, some form or fashion, they become drug dealers. So, and I got my new little USB port in the mail, and some of my lights aren't working. Look at this, my old USB port went out, so my lights aren't working. I can't draw on my screen because my little thing's not working. So I had to get me a new USB port. So hopefully that'll solve all my ails. Anyway, welcome in, y'all. Hope you're doing good. Wow, we got more market action today, do we not? Let's see what's going. I've been nervous to look. Let's see what we're doing here. So let's see, the E-minis down 1.74. I should already start this. 2 minutes. Let's see how bad it looks. It's down 1.71%. Come on, little baby. Come on out. There we are. 15. We're in the 15-minute opening range. So we're about where we opened, right at the cash open. So, you know. And why would that be the cash open if we're down 1.72%? Oh, I guess we opened down. That's right. Okay. All right. So we're in the 15-minute range. We're right at VWAP. We're below cash open. We're above overnight low. And we're above the hourly midband in this pivot point here. So, you know, who knows? What's our AD looking like? AD is, what is our AD? It's NA. It's not even available. Negative 364. So not as weak as it was yesterday, but looks like it's almost kind of starting to trend up a little bit. So it's been worse today. NASDAQ down 2.64%. Wow. So this is where everybody gets nervous and scared, and the people start, you know, changing their accounts and calling their brokers and doing all kind of stuff. And really no need to fear, not from anything that I see. I mean, based on what we do, right? No need for us to be nervous or scared. We'll just kind of evaluate, make sure we're doing our thing. All right, and I noticed this morning when I first looked, I don't know how it's doing now, but it looks like some of our hedges are starting to kick in, which is kind of nice. All right, so let's go to our other chart. Let's look here at the E-minis, see if we can make any sense of where we're going. So here we go. We went to an oversold condition. We went to overbought. So that kind of staged a little bit of support there. So we went from oversold back into the fair market range. Look at that. Isn't that incredible how it just catches the top there? So it caught the top. It goes, hey, I need to pop back down into the fair value price. And indeed it does. It goes back into fair value. And now we're just kind of trouncing around the mid price there. So see these gaps here in volume? Never, ever be surprised to see these gaps that are really big gaps to fill. So as we look at this, we know the point of control is right there. Point of control is right there. So we wouldn't be surprised. Ooh, that's too big, Bob. That's what she said. Beth hates it when I do Michael Scott. That's what she said. All right, here we go. So wouldn't surprise us all to see some type of move in that direction. Wouldn't surprise us to see that fill that gap. Wouldn't surprise us to go back to that point of control, unless it builds another point of control down here. So it's just kind of neat. This is kind of, you know, we would anticipate movement between the fair value ranges in particular, but wouldn't be surprised by anything going here or back up to there. So that's very, very interesting. So let's go and look at the NASDAQ, see what the NASDAQ's doing for today. The NASDAQ is, come on, Bob, get it together. Get it together. I'm all discombobulated. Then I went to Crystals to get a 24-pack of Crystals to bring home to the family. And I was a little upset because the last time that I was at Crystal, it was raining and they were so ugly to me, and they didn't take my order. So I pulled up, and then by the time I got up there, they were like, "You're going to have to go back in line now. We're going to take the other person's way." And I said, "I ain't moving. I ain't moving." I said, "You're going to have to call the popo." And y'all know how I always get upset with stuff anyway. So I'm always a brawler out in public. But And most of the time it's because I'm not on my meds, which I am not today. I haven't taken a single one, so my forgiveness. So look how the NASDAQ caught that upper bound. Isn't that cool? So NASDAQ goes to the top and it says, hey, wait a minute, I need to pop back down into the fair value. And then indeed it does. And now we're getting a little bit of support right there. Huh? A little bit of support. So what do we anticipate for NASDAQ? Well, we would anticipate NASDAQ to probably fluctuate between here and here, and to definitely try to test that 50% line. Wouldn't be surprised to see movements here to that 50% line to check that out. And we're always looking at that point of control on volume, always looking. So this is kind of a little bullish setup, we would think, but with all this going on, we have no idea because, you know, we got the US telling people to get out of the embassy in the Ukraine. We got people telling our soldiers to get ready. You know, who knows what the world is in. All we can do is be proactive as much as we can. And then a certain bit of what we do is reactive as well. So there's that. Let's see if we can get a good reading on our skew driver today. Skew driver. I'm not sure I'm muted everybody. Let's see. Everybody will just kind of check yourself, make sure you're muted. I'm getting a little bit of, that sounds like Matt Jolly Wally. Of course, we already know Matt. Let's see. Armando, we'll mute Armando, and mute Dwayne. All right, good. What are y'all chatting about? Any suggestion how to place the BSX today? A few of mine expired. Prices are way up. Yeah, so MRP, this is not the day to enter a full tranche. If you're going to buy a tranche on a down day, you just can't do it. If you don't have, if you've got plenty of hedges in place, you could sell another 3 naked puts today, right? But this is not the day to be putting on 4 tranches for sure. Armando, glad to have you. Absolutely. All right. So let's see if we can get a good reading on our screwdriver. Oh, I'm hot. I got my blown britches on and everything, y'all. I run in to get here. All right, let's see what our screwdriver is. All right, screwdriver, Bob. Let's see, go 28 or 31 days. Let's try this 31 days, see if we can get a good value here. I mean, it's just off the charts. And the reason is, you see this, when we built this, or we didn't build it, when I found it, we're going to have to put some more prices on here because we just don't see anything that's going for 520. So it's out of bounds, y'all. I mean, it's at least 148. So, you know, it's beyond our little scale. We never anticipated when they came up with this. I guess if anybody knows how to do this, we need to copy these down and go down a little bit more. But, you know, we'll see how we do that. It's kind of cool. So, man, I'm gonna gotta at least put 148 on it. It's probably more than that. So let's go. What we do know is it's way out of bounds. This is way out of bounds. And 522. So let's just kind of look. And we would expect a revision to the mean. We just don't know when that's going to happen. This will revert, right? Yesterday, Rick gave us a value of 160, I think, but it was moving all over the place. So this is an extreme, y'all. We've never seen this extreme since we've been following it together. So we know that the market will cause this skew to go back down somewhere to the mean. It always reverts. We just don't know how long that would be. And could it continue to go up? It could. So it's not really a good timing mechanism, but we know it's an extreme. We would anticipate at some point, once all this fear and everything subsides, that this would go down and prices would stabilize somewhat. But let's look at the VIX today. What's VIX trading at? Gosh, Bob, you can't do anything. Let's see what VIX is trading at today. VIX is probably up. Wasn't it near like 30 or so? Come on, Bob. Let's see what it is. VIX. VIX, not VIX, not VIX. VIX, Bob. All right, so VIX is 32, so it's up 7.79% today. And we never got on that last VIX hedge that we had. So we've got them at 21 out, we've got them at 48 out, we've got them at 84. We do not have one at 112. Yeah, it's a little unfortunate we got that one put in, but I mean, it is what it is. So that's fine. Let's look at our Analyze tab, see how things are looking with our ES trades, our Sweet Bobby hedges. Remember, I told you during this elevated VIX, I would move your vol step up to 10%, not 15%, because volatility is already enormous. So here's my portfolio, beta weighted, high in simulations. Look like I'd be up between 10 and 18,000 if we had a huge sudden drop. So that's fine. That protects me in the event of calamity. Let's see what otherwise that gives me 31 to 41,000 just with my hedges. Okay, so I'm fine with that. Let's go to our, let's see how our account has no available buying power. Okay, that's fine. We've got 31 deltas, positive deltas. We've got positive theta, and we've got manageable negative vega. So everything's fine. So here's where our losses are coming, of course, for TQQQ. We knew that. The VIX hedge is pumping up just a little bit, not a lot. The micros are doing wonderful today. Look at that. So that's the good part, right? Is that if we were just holding the TQs and the TMF, we'd be down really big today. But as I posted into our Discord chat, it looks like some of our hedges are starting to raise their head just a little bit. 92 there, but I'm really impressed with what the micros are doing. Now, you know, we've got all of our buying power done and gone. So there's really nothing. I'm not putting on any 1-1-1 trades. I'm not doing anything like that. We're letting the market just kind of settle down. Looking at your Greeks, making sure that we're not too skewed one way or the other. And what I did is I took my Greeks down by, okay, see here are calls. Remember we sold the 5 covered calls. They're up 67%, up $1,007, up $715 today. We bought 4 puts. I kind of wish I'd bought 5 now, if I look back at it. And those are up $660 at 24 days out. So this really took my deltas down. And that's what I wanted to do. So if you're in a panic state, if you're in a go, Bobby, I don't know what to do, the market's down, my account's down, what do I do? What I would do is take your deltas and kind of get them neutral. Or neutralize my deltas. There's a lot of ways you can do that. You could sell calls, you could buy puts, or you could sell futures. So if I wanted to get flat now, what I could do is I could sell a micro future. So micro future would give me negative 50 deltas. So overall, I'd be negative 20 deltas. So you just got to know what to do. You know, when you get in these situations, you want to kind of go delta neutral. I have no problem being a little positive deltas here. I got positive theta. My vega is fine. And okay, so you got 153 on the thing now. Wow, that's incredible. So, you know, for the TQQs to be down substantially, we're doing really good today because TQQQ is down how much today? TQQQ is down 8%, 7.75%. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So, you know, for that to be down that much and for me to now own 600 shares. Oh, I didn't show y'all that yesterday. So after we ended the day together yesterday, I said, you know, I'd kind of like to get it up to 600 shares. And that's what I did. So I got it up to 600 shares. So at some point, I will probably, and we'd love to do it on an update, I'll sell another call against that. And if we don't, we'll probably close these calls on Friday, we'll roll them out for another week, I don't really call it rolling. I call it what it is. We'll close these and we'll reestablish the position and roll out for 7 days with a new position. And we still have these puts. So I'll probably as well hope that we get a big move up, and I'll probably buy at least another put. I could potentially buy 2 more puts, but you don't want to buy puts on down days. Remember that little graph that we went over that time? On up days, you sell calls. On up days, you buy puts. On down days, you sell puts. On down days, you buy calls, right? Yeah, that's right. I had to think of that. So that's what we do there. So really, you know, we're just kind of in this waiting pattern. I'm happy with my deltas overall because I do think that we'll, you know, get a rip your face off bounce coming at some point. I'm happy with my theta. Theta is positive. I'm happy with, you know, my Vegas a little, you know, more than I'd like it to be. But overall, the hedges are doing exactly what the hedges are doing, because otherwise we'd be down $1,200 today. But we're not. TMF is helping a little bit. We've got our E-minis helping a little bit, but look at those beautiful, beautiful, beautiful 111 trades that we put on that are doing just what they're supposed to do to alleviate the pain here. Now let's open our little spreadsheet and see if it's flashing a signal, and I know it is. And the problem is that, you know, I don't need to buy, I don't need to buy any more shares of TQQQ, even though I want to. Oh, do I want to go in and buy these 71 shares? Do I want to? Do I? Yes, I want to go in and do that. But there's a problem. Well, what's the problem, Bob? Well, the problem is it says I've got negative cash. So if you add up my positions in QQ and TMF, you know, that's what it equals. But my net lick is under this. So it's saying I've got negative cash to do this, which means what? That I would, if I bought these 71 shares, I probably could, but I'll be a little overextended because I'll be using leverage as you know, even though I've got stock buying power, because they give you, you know, this is a margin account, so I could buy it on margin, but you're actually using margin, using leverage to buy a leveraged product. So do I need to do this? No, I need to slow my roll down because I'm happy. I've got 600 shares and I've got 388 shares of TML. So I'm really, really kind of good, right? I don't think that there's anything that I need to do here. So, and I've done several buys lately. So yesterday I bought 31 shares. Last week I bought 69 shares. I bought 34 shares. On the 20th, I bought 5 shares. So on the 19th, I bought 3. So we've been doing a lot of buying. Problem is I have run out of cash to buy. Could I still buy them? Absolutely. Could I liquidate stuff and buy them? Absolutely. But I think based on what I've done here, that's 139, 142 shares that I've bought since the 19th. That's good. That's really, really, really good. So at this point, remember I had the little maintenance thing where it said, hey, I've got to, I had to put in $140 or whatever. Well, that kind of settled itself out. So it now says the account has no buying power, but at this point, they've not issued the new margin call or anything. So I could clean up some stuff today if I wanted to. I don't think there's really a need for me to clean up. And here's what I really like, is I've got all these options. A lot of them are still short options, right, that are expiring in 6 days. See, there's a short, there's a short. So we got some options that are expiring in 6 days. They're still, well, that was not profitable. That one is, but you know, there's stuff I could close if I wanted to, but we've got all these beautiful little 111s that are doing what the 111s were scheduled to do. So, you know, someone said, are you looking at, you know, closing the short at 2x? And I don't do that. I just don't put on stops. I don't do everything. I just look at the overall count. The overall count is, even though I've run out of buying power, my deltas are fine, my theta's fine, my vega's fine. They're probably going to ask me in the day or two, maybe to, you know, issue a margin call. At this point, I don't have it. And if they do, I'll just shut things down. So I would shut things down that would probably get my delta more neutralized and more down to 0. We still want my theta to be positive. Why? Because I've negated some of the positive effects of holding 600 shares of TQQQ. But oh, do I wish I had the cash? Do I wish I had the cash? And if I didn't have the cash, I'd love to do this today. I'd love to buy 71 more shares for fresh stock price. I'd love to buy my 71 shares, but I don't want to overextend myself. I want to go to something that someone brought up yesterday, and this is totally correct, and I've got to fix this. On the twin vest, you start with a static stock price. So whatever the stock price is, when you start your twin vest, that should stay. So then your twin vest code stays the same. So this is not something that should change. So I got to figure that out and change this just a little bit so that your twin vest starts with the original stock price to calculate your twin vest code. And then I'll somewhere put in the updated stock price that'll tell you how many shares to buy or sell. But as far as establishing the code, you only establish the code on the price that you initially buy in. And then it stops that code so that your twin vest code, in other words, your twin vest code should not be changing. Your twin vest code stays the same through the life of your little twin vest program. And however long that lasts, a couple of years, 3 years, whatever, before we change that again. So no big deal there, but that is one thing that I need to get in there if I'll take my Adderall today and make that change. But what I'm worried about, I just want to make sure that y'all are okay, because we have never seen this together, what we're seeing, and if this is the first time that you're seeing something like this, it may be catching some of you by surprise. I just want to make sure that y'all are hanging in there, y'all are doing good, no one's panicking. You get a margin call, you don't flip out, you don't freak, you realize that there's time to settle down and to do things. And what am I? I'm a long-term holder of this particular asset that we are purchasing. That's why I wish that I could buy another 71 shares on this big, humongous download, because in my opinion, it's coming back at some point. Do I know that for certain? No. Could TQQQ go out of business? It certainly could, but it's not something that I'm worried about at all. I'm not worried about that at all. So when you go into these type things, and if you're reading Facebook and the trading groups, and you're reading all this stuff, you're seeing that people are quitting, they're giving up, because it's been easy money for the last couple of years, and now they're like, yeah, I'm giving up. Yeah, this always happens, y'all. It always happens. I see it every time. And it's those of us who temper our expectations, manage our risks, that stay in the game. And there's a lot of people right now that are quitting and are closing their accounts, and they're probably going to call Charles Schwab and get somebody at Merrill Lynch to manage their money, and they're not going to outperform the market. And we may not outperform it this year either. But at some point, I fully believe that the prices of the underlying assets that we're accumulating will increase. We're going to be just fine. You just can't panic. And that's what a lot of people do. They look at that daily P&L. I told you yesterday, if I was going to do something and I wanted to really relax, what I do is I close all my hedges. I close my 111. I close my Sweet Bobby hedge. I close my VIX hedge, and I just run AIM. If I wanted to really sit back and just let it do its thing, check it once a month, be done with it. And then don't be watching it and worrying about what's going to happen on the daily news. Really, it's not the holding of stock shares that get us in trouble, because a stock that you're holding can only go to zero. It ought to be the options sometimes that we have, the naked puts and things of that nature, that would ever cause you a little bit of grief that goes, oh gosh, I could blow out an account. But at least with your stock holdings, those can only go to zero. Now you can get in trouble if you've got naked options and you're doing all kinds of things with them. So that's where the real risk goes. But if TQQQ goes to zero, then what is my loss? I know my loss. So let's see. Right now, my stock value is 31,569. If I didn't have hedges on, didn't have anything, my 600 shares go to zero. I've lost 31,000. Wham. That's a big meatball. It's a really big meatball for some people, but am I perfectly comfortable with risking that in this environment? Absolutely. Matter of fact, I wish I had 671 shares today. I'm that convinced. So, this is not the time to be selling your positions in TQQQ, in my opinion. Don't listen to me. I tell you, I'm the worst trader in the world. I'm the worst investor in the world, but we really have to do what others are not willing to do. The people are quitting now. They're leaving the house that's on fire, so to speak. And when they're leaving and going to safer pastures, you and I charge right in and do what they want. And we scoopy, accumulate assets. Wealth building is the accumulation of assets, as much as we don't want to talk about it. So when I bought 3 girl pigs and got 1 boy pig, and you can call them sows and boars, whatever, and I don't do that. I call them little boys and little girls. So my 3 girl pigs, when they have babies from my 1 boy pig, whose name is Silas and is too fat, I'm not sure that he'll be able to get the job done. We'll see. But bless his little heart, his little belly kind of rubs the ground. So if Silas is able to do everything, then I'm going to have probably in the next year, if they have 2 litters, so I have about 10 pigs each, so that's 20 times 3 is 60. I'm gonna have 60 little pigs maybe running around the house. Fortunately, that will not be killed by my donkeys, because I just got rid of my donkeys because they killed my baby goats. So, that's the way you accumulate an asset or farms, is that your animals reproduce, and it gives you more animals that you can breed and whatever, and sell to people for pets. I do not sell mine for anybody to eat. So if anybody wants one of my pigs and you tell me you're going to eat it, you can't have it because they're pet pigs. So we'll raise pet pigs here around the farm, and they'll have them in the winter. Maybe they'll have them in the summer. Maybe they'll have them in the spring. I don't know when they're going to have pigs, but you accumulate assets. That's how farmers, you grow corn, and then you get your corn and you use that corn as seed, and then you're able to plant another extra acre, and you just keep building your business and building your farm, or whatever the business is. So it's an accumulation of assets. So amazingly so, you and I sit here and are able to build assets. And there's no better way to build assets than when assets are on sale, right? Hey, MRP, I've thought about that too. I've been looking at those. MRP brings up a good suggestion. We should do cover calls on TMF also. They're not as liquid. Let's look at them. But I hope y'all get that. And it's counterintuitive, because you've got everybody and their mama panicking and wanting to get out of the market and wanting to go to safety at the most inopportune time. Well, they think that it's going to go down more. Well, is it? We don't know. So that's why you buy more when things go down. You just do. If you believe in the asset, and I believe in our asset that we're doing it. Could you sell calls in TMF? Well, absolutely. You're not going to have as many expirations, and you're going to notice you don't have all the cool strikes and the but yeah, you could certainly go down here and sell calls against your. Now, here's what some people will tell you. You're not supposed to sell a call below your basis in the underlying. To me, I'm not so big on that. I understand what they're saying. So our basis is 2605. That's our cost basis in our share. So you wouldn't want to sell below that, because you wouldn't want to get called away at a loss. Yeah, okay, I kind of get that. So our basis in TMF is 2605. So let's see what we could do. So if you're selling the 26, you sell the 27. Can you bring in income from doing that? Absolutely, right? So we've got 388 shares. You could sell 3 calls against that, right? But you're only bringing in $150. It isn't the sweet, juicy premiums that we bring in on the TQQQ, right? But yeah, you could do that. Certainly could do that. Got no problem with that. Or if you want to hedge your bets on that too, right? And say, got 388. Let's just sell 2 of them instead of all 3, or sell 2, sell 1, whatever you want to bring in a little income. So all kind of things that you could do. Now let's think about that. What would that do to our deltas? So our TMF deltas are negative. So let me think about that. So if I'm long TMF, I'll have negative deltas. So if I sell a call against an asset that has negative deltas, that would give me positive deltas on the call, right? That would give me positive deltas. So you got to keep those type things in mind, and it would increase my theta as well. Probably increase your I'm not sure about your theta. I'm sure that we'll see. All right. So he's got questions about anything. I just want to make sure y'all comfortable. Don't give up the ghost. The worst thing to do is to say, man, Bobby, I bought into the AIM stuff back in September, October, and man, look at the accounts down, and now I'm going to quit. Well, you're doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. Now, your thought process may be, well, TQQQ can go down a lot more. It certainly can. Now, what should we strive to do? Well, we should strive to buy more. So if anything, I probably need to put more money in and accumulate more assets. I mean, do you really believe in the strategy that we've got going? Do you really believe it? Or you're like, no. And I've told you from the start, what we're doing is experimental. We're either going to be found out to be, some of the wisest people on the planet, or, it'll be like the time that I went into business selling goats to the Cubans when there was an embargo, and there's not a Cuban that lives within probably 200 miles of me. Well, I'm sure there is in the land. But it's not like in Bowden, Georgia, you go, oh man, we've got a huge Cuban population that's going to buy my goat meat. People in my community, if you say, hey man, let's have a goat barbecue, ain't nobody coming to your barbecue. I don't care if you got the best pecan pie and tater salad on the planet. Ain't nobody coming to eat your goat. Not around here. Now, worldwide, people love the goat. Right here in Little Bowden, Georgia, ain't nobody eating no goat. You go to the Southern Lady Greasy Spoon in town and say, let me get some goat balls. You ain't getting no goat balls. No. And goats with gravy, man, they fine here. That may fly in Atlanta or somewhere, where it's you got people of different backgrounds where goat eating was a big thing, but Now, you are more likely to have people turn their nose up at goat meat where I live than squirrel meat. You go and you pop a squirrel out of the tree, which is nothing but a tree rat. You skin him up, put him in a bowl, make some dumplings with it. There's some people around in my area right here, they go crazy. They love that. But you talk about eating the goat, you're going to do that. So, it just depends. So we are asset accumulate. There you go. Armando started AIM yesterday. Feeling really good today. Absolutely. And Armando, I think the mistake, I don't want to call it a mistake I made. I probably, because I'm an over trader, I've looked at mine too often. I've looked at it daily I want a daily because, I'm just excited to see my little spreadsheet working. And the spreadsheet popping out, sell today, buy tomorrow, sell, and doing all that. It's been really exciting. But then I kind of run out of cash. So I'm kind of just sitting here twiddling my thumbs now. There's really nothing for me to do. I don't need to adjust my deltas. I don't need to adjust anything else. What do you need to do in your accounts? That's what you got to understand. So if you got in yesterday at TQQQ, wow, fascinating. If you didn't go yesterday, go today. Today's an even better day because TQQs are down almost, 8%? What a beautiful day to buy. So, it is what it is. And you guys just got to know what you're doing. Know what if you're totally in AIM, if I had to do any part of this little strategy that we're doing together, it works so good together, I believe. It works good that the micros and the E-minis kind of hedge the TQQQ, the TMF kind of hedges, the VIX kind of hedges. We've got all these little hedges in place. It's really kind of cool. But if I had to run just one thing in this account, I just run AIM, nothing else. Check it once a month, be done, and accumulate assets. So good, Armando. I'm glad that you did that. So does anybody, just want to make sure that y'all are quiet, right? You're not talking a lot. Just want to make sure everybody's good psychologically, because I've been through this before. What we're going through now is nothing. It could go down a lot more. If it does, opportunity, bye. You just got to be able to do what others are not willing to do, because there's people that are not going to do what you and I are going to do. They're scared. And fear has no place in what you and I are doing. Fear really doesn't have a place. I wake up, I'm not fearful of what the market does. And I'm also not greedy. I'm more greedy than fearful because I really want to buy those 71 shares that my spreadsheet says to buy today. I really want to do that. I'm not going to do it because it says I got negative cash. So I really don't need to do that. But, you know, conventional wisdom is often wrong. Conventional wisdom, you know, people, oh, get out, it could go much worse. Absolutely. But I think it's those of us who go in during these times that are going to be successful in the end. So I'm really excited. All right. Good deal, guys. I hope y'all have a good rest of your day. Sorry for getting started late today, and I will see y'all tomorrow.